My husband's young secretary was running up charges on my supplementary card like there was no tomorrow. Not only that, but she had the nerve to call me nothing but a pretty face, completely useless besides, right there in a French restaurant. So in a fit of anger, I canceled her card. She couldn't pay the bill, made a complete fool of herself, and ended up being held by the restaurant manager for an entire day and night. When my husband found out, instead of getting upset, he just smiled, reached over, and gently booped my nose.
You really couldn't.
Then, on my birthday, he took me out for a fancy French dinner. He ordered dozens of tables worth of expensive dishes and fine wine, saying some of his friends would be joining us later.
Honey, I need to step out for a sec. I'll be right back to celebrate your birthday with you.
Who knew I'd wait until the place was almost closing, and neither he nor any of his friends showed up. Just as I pulled out my card to pay.
Miss Fan, this card has been frozen.
Frozen? I couldn't believe it. This card was given to me by Liam Walker. Before we left the house, he'd even taken my own card away.
It's your birthday today. Let me take care of the bill.
At the time, I was so touched. I secretly congratulated myself on finding such a thoughtful, loving husband. But now he was nowhere to be found. I'd called him dozens of times, no answer. If this card couldn't be used, I was going to be in serious trouble, and the manager's gaze had already shifted from respectful to impatient.
Miss Van N, do you have another card you can use? Just so you know, we don't allow credit here. You remember what happened last month, don't you?
Of course I remembered. Last month, Liam's little secretary had used his supplementary card to splurge wildly, all while calling me a useless pretty face. So then, could it be? An uneasy feeling crept up my spine. I started to wonder if this was Liam's way of getting back at me for humiliating his secretary. Just as I was thinking that, I heard the sound of leather shoes clicking on the floor outside. I turned my head quickly and saw Liam walk in with his arm around that same little secretary who was glaring at me with pure hatred. Behind them followed a group of friends, every single one wearing an expression that said they were here for the show.
Sarah, you love punishing people who can't pay their bills, don't you? Well, now it's your turn. Let's see what you do when you're the one stuck with no money.
I heard Sarah comes from a poor family. She got lucky that Walker took an interest in her, and now her husband is cozying up to his new flairm while she watches him enjoy the show.
See? That's what happens when you rely on your looks to climb the social ladder.
Exactly. How long did she think her youth and beauty would last? The moment a rich man finds someone younger and prettier, her luxurious life is over.
I slowly clenched my fists. The heat of humiliation rushed through me. Just as I'd guessed, Liam had set me up to avenge his precious secretary. Liam led Lena Jones to the front of the room, pulled out a chair, and sat down.
Don't worry, Lena. However Sarah humiliated you that day, I will pay her back in full.
Lena's face lit up with delight. Without thinking, she turned and kissed Liam on the lips.
Thank you, Liam.
Then she looked at me, her eyes full of defiance.
Sarah, you're nothing but a pretty face. What gave you the right to cancel my card?
With that, she picked up an expensive bottle of red wine from the table and smashed it at my feet. Wine splashed onto my face, making me look even more pathetic.
You pathetic waste. Now that Liam is paying for me, I can smash as many bottles as I want. But you're finished.
Don't glare at me like that. If you have money of your own, you can pay and leave.
What money? She doesn't have a dime. Look at all the food and open wine. The total is astronomical. She's always lived off Liam. The moment he leaves her, she's nothing.
To make sure I was thoroughly humiliated, Liam stood up with a cold smirk and swept his gaze across the room.
Anyone who dares to help Sarah out of this mess is my enemy, and an enemy of the Walker family.
Everyone knew that the Walker family was the new richest family in New York. No one dared to cross Liam Walker. A few business partners I'd worked with closely started to get up, thinking of helping me, but the moment they heard Liam's words, they quickly sat back down, terrified he might notice them.
See, he means business. He sure spoils that little secretary more than his own wife.
I thought they were legally married, but it looks like he's serious. With a threat like that, who would dare help Sarah?
I was so furious I lost control. I walked straight up to Liam, grabbed his hand, and demanded,
Liam Walker, are you really doing this to me? For some cheap little schemer?
Liam curled his lip in disdain and slapped me across the...
Yes.
I turned my head back in disbelief. We had been married for 3 years. Everyone knew us as the perfect couple. He was the one who pursued me when I first arrived in New York. At our wedding, he made vows to be faithful to me forever. to love me with his life until the end of time. And now, 3 years, that was all it took. He had wiped out those vows, those beautiful memories with cold, cruel actions. Just like Outsiders said, when you marry into wealth based to caps, you've no dignity. The moment a younger, prettier woman appear his side, your days as a four-man wife are over. But what Liam didn't know was that I hadn't married into the Walker family for their money or status. I married him because I loved him. Seeing my red-rimmed eyes, Liam pulled out a tissue and turned away disdainfully, wiping the hand he'd just used to hit me.
You know, I care about that young secretary, but you just had to make a scene. Sarah, if you can't pay the bill tonight, I'm going to have the manager strip you naked and make you walk out of here that way.